Hello, my friends. It is Dr. Jimmy again. Yes, I've been away for too long. Sorry about that. And today, well, there's some big news. But first, T-shirt of the day. And today's T-shirt is this Ghostbusters Keep Calm, Carry On mashup. Keep calm and don't cross the streams. Especially at the urinal in the men's room, because that can lead to all sorts of complications. Oh my. Now, enough of that silliness. Big excitement now, of course. After 2 bloody months of nothing, we finally get an update for Halloween Horror Nights 27 at Universal Studios Florida in Orlando, as well as Halloween Horror Nights 2017 over in Hollywood, or really Burbank, California. Universal Studios Hollywood. Yes. And once again, we have the same intellectual property. So we have 3 mazes on each coast, no, 3 mazes in Hollywood, 3 haunted houses in Orlando, and all of them from the same intellectual properties. How interesting. This seems to be a trend this year. Although, there are likely about 6 in Hollywood, all IPs, and about 9 in Orlando, of which only, I think, 5 will be IPs, if the rumours that are currently circulating are correct. So, it won't be everything in Orlando that's in Hollywood, or vice versa, or something like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if most of them are shared, because they have been so far. And this time, it's ASHY versus the Evil Dead. Yes, ASHY versus Evil Dead, the lovely television program that airs on the Starz network. And if you don't get Starz, you can find it on Netflix. And catch up on the first 2 seasons, I think it's on Netflix. Otherwise, you might find some other streaming service, Hulu or Vudu or one of those. But at any rate, the first 2 seasons of the program, which also happens to air right about Halloween time, October. The 3rd season, I believe, is coming up this year. But the Haunted Maze and Haunted House, I believe, are based on the first 2 seasons that have already aired. So catch up on them now if you haven't seen it. Of course, ASHY vs. the Evil Dead is a sequel to the previous films of the Evil Dead franchise, the original Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, taking place 30 years later, with Ash, now a much older man. Bruce Campbell's about 5 years older than I am, which makes him about 59 years old. Although he seems a lot better shape and jumping about and doing athletic stuff that I could never do. But then I let myself go, just like Elsa in Frozen. I let myself go, let myself go. Oh, that's not quite right. That's what they did in Bill and Ted that one year, right? Yes. But Bruce has stayed in shape, so he's able to do all those stunts, although I'm not sure he does all of his own stunts like he used to. Met Bruce Campbell once when I was much younger, way back in 1990. A friend of mine, Joseph, came over from New Jersey and I came over from Hawaii. We met in California, went to the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors on Mother's Day weekend in May of 1990. And we were enjoying it, and we were just in a hallway, just the 2 of us in the hallway. Everybody else was in one of those rooms, and we were just sort of hanging out in the hallway, and there was Bruce Campbell just standing there, and the 2 of us were just standing there, so we got to chat with him for quite a bit, and no one else was around. It was quite fun. And we asked him if he did all those stunts, and he said, "Let me show you this," and he puts his hand up, reaches, oops, didn't knock, he wasn't wearing a hat, reaches up, grabs himself like this, and then flips himself over, does a backflip, falls flat on the ground. It's like, wow! He even did it a couple times to show us. It was really cool and neat guy to talk to a couple of nerdy kids. Well, I guess I wasn't that young. I was, what, 1990, I was, what, 26 or something like that? 27, I think. But still, not old yet, and Bruce would have been in his early 30s, and Joseph was like a teenager, maybe 17 years old at the time, or maybe 18, I don't know, something like that. And so we were just quite amazed how fun, how friendly, how cool Bruce was. And that was the one time I got to meet him, and I'm sure he's still a neat guy from everything I've seen. Good old groovy Bruce. So he's the star of the show, and in the show, of course, he's got some friends, Pablo and Kelly, and they drive around in that old Oldsmobile that's been in every frickin' Sam Raimi movie ever made. And it's his signature vehicle in The Evil Dead, and deal with Deadites, the Necronomicon, an ancient demon woman from hell named Ruby, who is like played by Xena Warrior Princess. Yeah, I can't remember the actress's name now. It's Love something. Not Linda Lovelace. Someone else entirely. But it's something. Loveless. But I can't remember her first name for some reason. But you know who I mean. She was Xena Warrior Princess, for fuck's sake, back in the day. Also a Sam Raimi production, if I remember correctly, that television program. And she's an enemy at first, then becomes an ally, then back to being an enemy again. A demon named Bale as a major big bad in the second season. All kinds of nifty stuff. Demons spawn demons. An evil hand puppet named ASHY SLASHY. Yeah, you remember Ash had an evil hand. This time there's an evil hand puppet. Yes, it's quite mad and delightful and hysterically funny, and as well as having some of the most incredible scenes of extreme gore you've ever seen on telly. It's just wonderful. I highly recommend the program. And so they're turning that into a haunted house for both parks. Now, there had been rumored all the way back at the beginning of the year that Ash vs. Evil Dead would be coming, because Justin leaked it in California and then eventually for Orlando as well. His idea, though, was that it wasn't actually based on the TV series, but only on the movie Evil Dead 2, and they're just using the TV series as the name of the maze to tie in with it. But that turns out to be incorrect. It turns out it is based on the actual television series, not on the movies. And people who had promoted this rumor quite a bit recently have come up with their own explanation. They claim that it was going to be based on the movie up until the last minute, and the rights holders, just like with Scream a couple years ago, said, oh no, you have to do the TV show, and this time they decided to do the TV show instead. But I'm not quite sure I buy that story. You know why I don't quite buy that story? Because they would have had to have already started building the house some time ago. And if they only just started, you know, the idea is that this is why this wasn't announced 2 weeks ago when it was supposed to be announced, and they had to wait 2 weeks and announce it now. Now, it was announced yesterday, in fact. Now, if that's true, they've already been building the house for some time now, and they've got sets and everything. And if that's true, then the whole house is the cabin, and that's all they've got. And they have to change it and make it for the TV series. They would only have the cabin scenes from the end of the second season. But that's not what it is, because Patrick Brayard, one of the main people involved in creating this thing over at Universal Orlando, has stated explicitly in the Halloween Horror Nights official blog that this is the entire first 2 seasons, and will have scenes from many different locations in the TV series, not just the cabin. The cabin will be included in climactic scenes, but it will have all sorts of other locations from the TV show as well, including Miami, Florida. I don't think they could possibly have done that if they'd been building a house based on Evil Dead 2 and then had to change it. They could overlay a little bit, but it couldn't have built all these other scenes in 2 weeks' time. I don't buy it. I think it was Ash vs. Evil Dead from the beginning, and the other rumor was some disinformation. That's my that's what I take based on what I have seen about this so far since the reveal was made. It clearly is the entire 2 seasons of the program. It will feature all sorts of creatures, all sorts of demons, the evil spawn of Bale, the half-human, half-demon spawn. Also other demons and creatures and deadites, and ASHY SLASHY. ASHY SLASHY, the hand puppet. At least all of these appear in the video that they presented to tie in with the haunted maze and the haunted house. So the same video for both parks, so I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have that in the video if they hadn't intended on having those scenes in the houses, would they? So they're going to do all of that. It'll be quite different from just having the cabin. So it won't be like the Evil Dead house they had back in 2013, which was only based on the Evil Dead movie, the remake. This will be quite a lot of different stuff. And I'm very excited about it because it's a rip-roaring, rollicking, balls-to-the-wall, fun television program. It'll make an awesome, hysterically funny, at the same time quite terrifying and extremely gory haunted house full of monsters. Oh, it'll be delightful. Can't wait to see it. So both parks will have Ash vs. Evil Dead. It should be a hell of a lot of fun. Now, I do have to come up with a cocktail for Ash vs. Evil Dead, and fortunately they have one that is part of the plot of the second season, where they make this cocktail they call the Pink Fuck. Now, I'd like to do that, except the actual Pink Fuck in the television program would be a bit difficult for me to make for a Halloween Horror Nights cocktail, a house cocktail. I managed to get a screen cap from the second season, and it showed Ash writing down a recipe, and so I wrote down the ingredients and I put them here. I've got the ingredients, 3 ounces of vodka, strawberry liqueur, pour for 2 seconds, a splash of grenadine, a half cup of lemonade, orange zest, nutmeg, something at the bottom that looks like 1 beer, and a cup of K with the K circled like Circle K. I'm not quite sure what that would be, but the main ingredient, the secret ingredient that gives it its kick, is ketamine, which is, of course, a cat tranquilizer, special K. Very illegal, not something I'm going to be, and not something you should ever take. And if you did and took it with alcohol, you're gonna die. So I would not make that particular cocktail with ketamine. I'll have to come up with a different cocktail that uses some of those ingredients and something to substitute for ketamine. I don't know, maybe absinthe. It would have to still be pink, though. If you add green absinthe, it'll make it a really disgusting colour. Oh, no. I have some very nice absinthe from Switzerland that's completely clear. Oh, and it would loche with the other ingredients and make it pink and milky looking, like an evil pink milkshake or something. That would be a good idea. I just have to get all the right ingredients and figure it out. Maybe for vodka, I'll get Kettle One instead of ketamine. Although I don't know if I'll go so far, because I still have a great big bottle of Absolute in the freezer. It's probably better to use what I got and not buy a whole nother bottle, because my liquor cabinet is kind of full right now, so I'll have to figure this out. Orange zest, that's like where you scrape it and get the... I'll figure it out. Maybe I use orange bitters instead, but that might not be... Well, you know, the orange zest has a slightly bitter taste to it. I'll figure this out. The cocktail video, though, will not be going up today. It won't be going up for a couple of days. At least I have to go and buy at very least, I have to get some strawberry liqueur of some sort to put in it. Don't have any strawberry liqueur. I have banana liqueur, I have chili pepper liqueur, I have honey liqueur and ginger liqueur and all sorts of other liqueurs. But I don't have any strawberry liqueur. I have, oh my God, I just realized. I have that jam, Laughing Goat. And that's kind of appropriate. I mean, there wasn't a laughing goat in Evil Dead, but there was a laughing goat in Sam Raimi's other film, Drag Me to Hell. There was a laughing deer head on the wall in Evil Dead. I hope the laughing deer head is in the house. That would be hysterical. I love the laughing deer head. But, yeah, the Laughing Goat Strawberry Ramp Jam. It's a jam that's very intense, and it's actually designed to flavour cocktails. I got some the other day at Swine & Sons here in Winter Park. I highly recommend Laughing Goat jams. You can put them on bread and stuff, but they're very strong flavored. Some have a savory edge to them, not just sweet. It's got strawberry, very intense strawberry. It's been double cooked for intense flavor and thickness, but you use that and mix it with your cocktail to give it. A lot of the better mixologists have been experimenting with jams a lot lately, especially those that are designed for cocktail seasoning. And it's got pickled wraps and it's got lemon and orange and ginger and even some salt as well as sugar. So it's got an interesting kind of savory, sweet and salty, a little bit sour, all this mix. It's a very intense flavor. That might go real well in that, whether I get the strawberry liqueur or not. I'm thinking about all of this stuff. I'm going to come up with something pretty amazing when I'm all done. But that whole video will come later because I don't have all the ingredients. But I just wanted to let all of those people out there in the Poor Judgment crew, shout out to the Poor Judgment crew, and also all the other mad drunks who are over 21. If you're under 21 and you're a mad drunk, shame on you. I won't be serving any alcohol to anyone under 21 because that's a felony. Yes, it's very naughty to do that. But and I have to make my disclaimer: drink responsibly. Do not operate machinery or drive motor cars. Do not text your boyfriend or girlfriend whilst drinking, because that can lead to all sorts of problems in your relationships. And never drink if you are below the age of 21, because that's illegal and can result in serious criminal proceedings. Stay out of jail. Okay, so that's my. I have to add that in because if I don't, some asshole will sue me. You said stuff about drinking cocktails in your video, and my 12-year-old is now drunk off his ass, and it's your fault. No, no, no! Don't you get your lawyers at me. I know my rights, and I also know that I put a disclaimer in my video, so I'm not encouraging anyone to drink who's not a responsible adult. Well, maybe a few irresponsible adults, but you have to be an adult. Alrighty then, so Ash vs Evil Dead is coming. It should be quite a lot of fun. So we've got 3 houses announced in Orlando, 3 mazes announced in Hollywood. What's next? Well, John Murdy has said he's going to be at Midsummer Scream this weekend. This weekend. It's Friday already, remind you. So that's Sunday, I think. Saturday the 29th, then Sunday the 30th. Sometime in the next 2 days he's going to be talking, and he said, knock wood, there's some wood here, not pasteboard, he said that he might be able to maybe announce something else. It is, of course, if publicity and marketing lets him, because he had hoped to do so with Ash vs Evil Dead a couple of weeks ago, and then it had to be until yesterday. But hopefully he might get the green light and we might hear something else before this weekend's over. And remember, it's almost freaking August. Today is the 28th of July. It's 7 weeks exactly till Horror Nights starts, both in Orlando and Hollywood. 7 weeks, 49 days. So they have to announce everything soon before the event actually starts. So we should be hearing soon is getting sooner because there isn't much time left. They have to announce something. So it might even be before the weekend's over. With that, I say ta-ta for now. I may make another video shortly. There's an awful lot of announcements, awful lot of updates about what's going on in Asia. And I have to make a video about what's happening in Japan and a little tiny clue about Singapore. So that'll come up next, either today or maybe sometime in the coming week, as soon as I can get around to making the video. Until then, have fun and keep your eyes open. You never know when the next announcement might come out.